What's up, everybody? This is Disco Demonic Hydroponic. I wanted to talk about a couple of things that have been going on, just to make a video with some content. So really, okay. So the other day I was in a meditation, and I ended up in a place where I was in a meditation. I visited a place where I'd grown up. It was the kind of back side yard of my grandmother's house. And I remember that I used to sit outside because my grandmother did not allow me to smoke or drink in the house. So I would have my remote control outside of the window, watching through the screen window, and I had a TV set up inside so I could smoke and drink outside as opposed to inside. Um, so I kind of just wanted to go visit myself there for some reason. It just kind of happened. And then when I was there, actually, I noticed that there was an entity over to the side, just kind of hanging out. And I went to the entity, and it was dressed very oddly. It was like a young man dressed in like old man's clothing. Like I had like a vest, kind of like a wool type of vest, and then had like a coat over, and then like a fedora type hat. And it was the face was kind of interesting. It would go from like young to old, and then I was curious. I was like, "What? Who are you? This and this and that." And it actually didn't really speak to me. It basically just showed me images, and as I got to know it, basically it explained itself as it was my watcher. So apparently, and I've connected to the watcher of other people, uh, and apparently we all have these watchers, and they're basically aspects of ourselves that just watch our lives. I don't know if you've ever been like you kind of feel like somebody's watching you. You don't really know who it is. It might be your personal watcher, or a personal daemon. Some people might call them. I remember that whenever I was growing up, I had that feeling a lot for a certain span of time. When I asked it about what it could show me, I got a lot of images related to the space that we were in. So in the backyard, a lot of things had happened when I was growing up there. Just a lot of experiences there. I got a flash of like a bunch of different things happening. I got images of me sneaking girls into my grandmother's house, the window. I got images of we used to have like a couch out there. I would do things on the couch with girls. uh, just a bunch of different stuff. There was a duck one time that creeped into our like backside yard there, and I remember that my grandmother told me to kill it. I threw a rock at it, hit it in the back of the head, and ended up like I remember blood shooting out the back of its head. I completely forgot about this. These were things that were not like readily. I mean, they're obviously they're in my mind, but they just kind of started. They flashed in a way that I had not experienced before. It did tell me or showed me that this was definitely the entity that had been watching me, and it even showed me something else. So like when I was growing up, I used to have somebody would knock on my door sometimes, and it would knock 3 times. And I always wondered why I would knock 3 times. And then I asked if it was the watcher, and the watcher said yes, or gave the let me know that it yes. And then it told me or showed me. Also, I asked it, why did you knock 3 times? And apparently, because the watchers are there, and that's why it apparently looks like this. Mine was dressed young, I mean dressed old but looked young. I've encountered other watchers that like look old but dress young, so they kind of all dress different. But it told me, or he told me, or I told me that basically what it was is that one knock was for the past, one knock was for the present, and one knock was for the future, and how they all kind of intertwined. He represented all of them. So it was very interesting. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I would have that knock throughout life. I had it even in this apartment now. I had an instance with something was knocking, and it would knock 3 times and get closer to me, and then knock 3 times, get closer, and then knock. So that was really interesting to finally realize and learn who was knocking, because that was a big thing. I was like, who is this? Who are you? What are you? And that's what it was. So it was my watcher. I on my Patreon, as I have mentioned, I have a Patreon now. On my Patreon, I actually talk about a method how to connect with your personal watcher, and a meditation method that you can utilize in order to connect with your own personal watcher. I actually had an instance where people might say, how can you use this? Well, I had an instance where somebody that I knew was having some issues. I connected with their watcher and asked them how we resolve those issues in the future. The watcher showed me how we resolve the issues in the future, and then I was able to convey the messages to the person and actually work through the process. So that's one of the things that happened. I mean, it's been really interesting working with this the personal watcher. And again, I have the information on my Patreon, and so I wanted to go ahead and make another announcement. Is that on my Patreon as well, I'm going to begin offering like $20 attunements. If you're on my Patreon, $20, you get an attunement. It's a one sigil, one mantra attunement, and it helps you connect with whatever entity you're wanting to connect with. If you like, the first month is going to be, they're going to be that for that month, for the entire month, I'll offer the attunement that I put out, right? So the first month is going to be Belial. Belial already came through. He wanted to be the first one. I have went ahead and announced on my Patreon and Facebook that I am going to, on social media, that I'm going to begin work. Belial and Lucifer have been coming through that they want to be a part of this. So I'm going to begin including them. I don't know how that's going to manifest, if I'm going to have different ones for Belial over the next few months, or if Lucifer is going to be next, or what entities are going to come forward. I don't know. They're going to, whatever. I'm going to follow spirit, whatever the spirits tell me to do. That's what I'm going to do. So I invite you all to join my Patreon. And this is for any tier. Any tier. The watcher information, I think I only have it up for the upper tiers. The lower tier is just sigils that normally I have. However, the attunements I'm going to offer them to every tier. So yeah, if you want to check out my stuff, I will leave a link in the description below. Thanks for watching. And hopefully you can connect with your watcher. If you use your own methods or come utilize mine, that's cool. So very interesting entity to work with. You're getting to know yourself a little bit further. So if you like this video, share it with your friends. If you hate it, share it with your enemies. Thanks.